Um, 29, what kind of problem does this look like? Oil. Could your calculator do it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. But this is actually, if you know how to do it, it's actually faster than without a calculator. Because not only is it a FOIL, they're conjugates, which means the outside and inside cancel out. So really all you have to do is first and last. First is 1 times 1. And last is square root of 3 times negative square root of 3, which is negative 3, and 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Okay, I remember yesterday I talked about 20 a little bit. Did I talk about 26 any? If you're multiplying the 2's together, what do you do with the exponents?
Make it equal. And the bottom the same.
If you're multiplying the same base together, the 2's, what do you do with their exponents? Add them. When you multiply the same base, 2 times 2, you add their exponents. So it's going to be 2 to the something. And you can just leave it as like an improper exponent. It's fine. We'll leave it like that. What else is tricky? 36 is tricky. Maybe I'll stop and do that one. Some of these are easy, like 29, 31. These are kind of easy. Some of them are tricky. 3x plus square root of 7 squared. Now, can a calculator do this?
Yeah. Oh, no.
No. Because once you throw a letter in there, that's kind of the end. What kind of problem is this, though? FOIL. It's 3x plus square root of 7 times 3x plus square root of 7. That's how you square a binomial. So first is 3x times 3x. 9x squared. Outside, okay, get more. 3x times square root of 7 is 3x squared root of 7. Can't really do anything with it. So 3x squared root of 7. Inside, 3x times square root of 7. Same thing. 3x squared root of 7. And the last is square root of 7 times square root of 7. Yeah, square root of 49 turns into 7. Okay, is there anything else we can do? Add the like terms. 3x squared root of 7 plus 3x squared root of 7 is 6x squared root of 7. Four over 1 plus square root of 5. All right, could a calculator do this? Yes, it could. But if you're doing it by hand, you don't want to leave the square root on the bottom. You'd have to multiply by the conjugate, 1 minus square root of 5. So if you do that to the bottom, you do it to the top. To the top, you distribute the 4. It would be 4 minus 4 square root of 5. And the bottom is a FOIL, except for, since they're conjugates, you only have to do first and last. 1 times 1, square root of 5 times negative square root of 5. Okay, so the top doesn't simplify. The bottom, 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Is there anything else we can do? We could, since both of those are divisible by 4, I'll just divide them both by negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is positive, so it's just square root of 5. Okay, 35. 4 plus 3, I 1 minus Alright, could a calculator do this?
No.
No. Well, if it's white, it can. No comments, Grant. You're gonna make a racist joke. Okay, so if this is 1 minus 2i, you would get rid of the I by multiplying by the conjugate, 1 plus 2i. You have to do that on the top. The top would be a FOIL.
Sure.
Yep.
What would happen if it was snow day on Friday? If our test was Friday?
You have to come in on Saturday and take it.
What if we do this
Just
on
you,
Monday?
nobody else will be
Or
here.
Tuesday?
Why is it the same?
Hmm?
Because we're doing a review right now, and then Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know. I might make you do it on Monday.
But
Sorry.
we don't have school on Monday.
Or Tuesday.
Oh, we don't have school Monday?
No,
we
we
don't.
don't.
Oh, okay. Oh. Did you forget
Wouldn't that
about
be
them?
funny if the only day we really needed a snow day was Martin Luther King?
I would try.
I think it'd be funny.
It is supposed to snow on Monday.
Well, Monday's supposed to be really cool, like, the low is supposed to be.
Yeah.
On the day.
The low on Saturday is like 0. Or like -1.
It's low on Mondays, like negative.
Yeah, it's bad.
You got a Trump
Isn't the test, oh, wasn't it like,
right.
wasn't it, didn't you say the test was graded?
What are we doing on Thursday then?
What are we doing on the review?
Donald Trump.
We always do this.
Well, that's Thursday.
Yeah, like the review.
I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do tomorrow, guys. We'll see. It'll be a surprise. Okay.
We always do this for 2 days. Just 34 simplified.
Yeah, this one's what?
Just 34 simplified.
34. Well, yeah, you have to multiply the top and bottom by I,
I can't help it anymore.
or Anya's calculator can do it also.
But it didn't work.
Well, it has to be in complex mode. So,
So how would you put it in the calculator?
on which one?
It's the I.
You have to press the buttons.
Okay, anyway, I sidetracked. We're foiling here, so first is 4 times 1. Outside is 4 times 2i. Inside is 3i times 1. And last is 3i times 2i, which is 6i squared. 6 times -1 is -6. On the bottom, they're conjugates, so you only have to do first and last. First is 1 times 1. Last, -2i times 2i is -4i squared. -4 times -1 is +4. Okay, on the top, the like terms, 4 minus 6, -2, 8i plus 3i. Okay, on the bottom we have 1 plus 4 is 5. But do you guys remember on the i's, we kind of split them up, like instead of the one division bar, we just put both of those under 5, over 5. On complex numbers, we split them into 2.
Become a racist for
37.
race.
Okay. 37's a little bit different. Oh, maybe I should talk about 36 actually. Was that the one? Yeah. So, alright, 36, 6 divided by 3 to the 1/3. Okay, 6 divided by 3 to the 1/3. Can your calculator do it? No. Because of the 1/3. We don't want a decimal. What's the 1/3 power mean? It means a cubed root. So here's another way of writing it. 6 divided by a cubed root of 3. So you're not supposed to leave a radical in the denominator. So 3 does not have a cubed root, but what's a number that 3 can go into that does have a cubed root? 27. So how do I turn this into the cubed root of 27? I'm gonna multiply by the cubed root of 9. So on the top, I'm gonna multiply by the cubed root of 9. So on the top, what's 6 times cubed root of 9? 6 cubed root of 9. On the bottom, what's cubed root of 3 times cubed root of 9? Cubed root of 27, which is 3. Okay, that's why we changed it into 27, because it actually has a cubed root of 3. Okay, is there anything else that we can do? What divides by 3? 6, not this. Does the cubed root of 9 simplify? No. It's not a square root. It does not simplify. 6 and 3 do reduce, so it would be 2 cubed root of 9. We did a couple problems like this, like way at the beginning of the chapter, which is like the beginning of December. So, yeah. We might be a bit rusty on that. I'm not sure you guys had it mastered even back when we did it, so.
How much does the test gonna affect us if we have like barely any grades in?
Million bajillion. Well, it doesn't really matter how many grades are in. The test grades are, what percentage was it? 60%?
Why'd they change it?
Oh, reasons. Yeah.
You're not doing 36? That was 36?
Whoops, that was 36.
Yes.
Okay, 37.
I hate that. I hate when you suggest that. Sure.
Well, it's just easy to. Somebody I talked to said their school does even higher. I was like my cousin. Their school does an even higher percentage for tests.
I would not put it for that.
It's pretty easy to cheat these days, so I guess that's why tests are worth more. That's a big reason. Internet and whatnot. All the phone apps you guys are familiar with. What?
Yeah, so it's not working.
Every
But
teacher
that
hated
wasn't my fault.
It was all
Oh.
It was my fault.
because you're a woman. I don't even know what you're talking
My
about.
bad, man.
Okay, this one's a little bit different. Anybody have an idea on this?
It's like that one thing that we did. It's like where we
It looks like one of those hard problems, but it's not as hard because both of these square roots are the same. So what does that mean? That means they're going to kind of combine. They're like terms. So if I subtract square root of x minus 2 on both sides, yeah, we have 4 of them minus 1 of them makes 3 of them. Okay, so generally our game plan on solving square root questions is we want to simplify as much as we can, like put whatever we can together, but then we want to get the square root by itself so we can get rid of the square root. So how do I get rid of this, or how do I get the square root by itself on this side? Add 1. It's kind of like 3x minus 1 equals 8. You just add the 1, you divide by 3. So we're going to add the 1. Three is multiplied to the square root, so we need to divide it away. So that goes away. Right. How do we get rid of a square root? Square it. And you have to square that side. So the left side just becomes x minus 2. The right side becomes 9. Okay, so x is what? 11. Now, there was a trick. Sometimes when you square both sides of an equation, you get an extra answer. The book uses a fancy word called extraneous, which means a fancy word for extra. So this might not actually work. You're supposed to plug it in. And see if it works. Kind of checking your answer might be a good idea anyway. If you put in 11 on both sides, does it make the two sides of the equation equal? That's how you can tell. So if I plug 11 in, 11 minus 2 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3 times 4 is 12 minus 1 is 11. So I plugged in 11, I got 11. That's just kind of a coincidence. That shouldn't normally happen. 11 minus 2 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Plus 8 is 11. So yeah, it does make the two sides equal. It is an answer. Yeah, one of the evens is no solution. Okay. So check your answers. That's what I'm saying. We just did 37.
So, you told us which one's okay, thank you.
And if there's no solution, I still expect to see some work. Can't just tell most of the time by looking.
It's gonna be on the back of my paper. There's nothing there yet because I haven't shown it.
Okay.
It's gonna be on the back of my paper.
It still needs to be numbered on the back. Needs to be identifiable. Okay, we did this trick once on this last week. Well, we did an odd and an even with this trick. Yeah. So these two don't add together because a square root of 7 plus 8 doesn't really add. But does anybody remember what we did for this problem? This is like the last question from Tuesday's assignment. Take something out. Yes, that's what we did. So both of these terms have a y, so we can take a y out. And then that will leave square root of 7 plus 8. This square root of 7 plus 8, whatever that value is multiplied to y. So how do I get rid of it? Divide. So I'm going to divide by square root of 7 plus 8. So that goes away. And yeah, a calculator could do this. You can do it by hand by multiplying by the conjugate. Square root of 7 minus 8. Distribute. Okay, and then on this one, it's a foil, but really first and last since it's conjugates. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is 7. 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. It's kind of a messy answer. Let's see. So it's 6 square root of 7 minus 48 over, this would be negative 57. If you plug in your calculator, they'd probably put the negative like on the top. That's okay. Doesn't matter. It's right both ways. You don't really have to check that one because we didn't square both sides. That would be a pain to check that one, but you could do it. 41. Okay, 40 and 41. Do you guys remember how we did number 40? Let's see. Check that as no. Well, kind of a hint in the problem. You guys know what 25 and 125 have in common? They're both powers of 5. So what you have to do on these problems where the variables and the exponent, you rewrite them as the same base. So 25 is 5 to the what? 5 to the second. So 25 to the x is 5 to the second to the x. And what happens when you have a power to another power? They just multiply together. So it's just 5 to the 2x. Okay. Some of you might not have known this, but 125 is 5 to the what? 5 to the third. So to make these two things equal, if the bases are equal, then the exponents need to be equal. So what x value would make those two exponents equal? So you just say, once you get the bases equal, you just say, okay, these two have to be equal. 2x equals 3. And you solve for x. Divided by 2. Okay, so that's kind of the game on 40 and 41.
Is this part gonna be on the test?
Yeah, probably one of them, like one question. Okay, so this is similar. There's a variable in the exponent. 81 and 27. Well, you guys recognize this one. What goes into 20? Like what? 27 is a power of what? 3. 27. 3 to the third is 27. So what would equal, if 3 to the third is 27, what would equal 1 over 27? Oh, this hurts my soul. Okay, you just make the exponent negative. That flips it upside down. So 3 to the negative third is 1 over 27. Okay, 81. Well, how many 3's go into 81? 4. So if it takes 3 times 3 times 3 to make 27, 3 times 3 times 3 times another 3, 27 times another 3 would equal 81. So 81 is 3 to the 4th. They have to be something, there has to be something in common for this trick to work. So it looks like that. What am I going to do with the exponents here? Multiply. 4 times that. It's not 4 times x, it's 4 times x minus 1. So you have to like distribute that. So it's 3 to the 4x minus 4 equals 3 to negative 3. Okay. Once the bases are the same, for these two to be equal, the exponents would also have to be the same. So 4x minus 4 needs to equal negative 3. And you can solve that for x. Okay, 43 was last Thursday's question. See if you guys still remember it. Okay, so how do we do that? Yeah, we want to square both sides. Now the right side is no problem. If we square the right side, that'll at least get rid of that square root. So that'll help. But if we square the left side, it's all of it times all of it, so it's a FOIL problem. So if I expand it out here, it'll be square root of 3x minus 6 plus 2 times square root of 3x minus 6 plus 2. And then if I square this side, it'll just be 3x plus 26. Okay, so the reason this side is simpler is because it's one term. The square root kind of makes it all one thing. So when you square root, that's fine. But this side is more complex because it's 2 terms, and when we square 2 terms, you have to multiply everything, like first and outside and inside, last, like every combo. Anyways, how do we multiply the first? So the first would be these two guys. These two are the last. So what's square root of 3x minus 6 times square root of 3x minus 6? 3x minus 6. Yeah, when you take a square root times itself, the square root just goes away. When you square a square root, the square root goes away. The outside is this square root times 2. So that would just be 2 times the square root. Doesn't really simplify. The inside would be the same thing, 2 times the same square root. So 2 square root of 3x minus 6. And then the last is 2 times 2. It's 4. All right, now what? Now what can we do?
Like terms.
Add like terms. So both of those are like terms. They're both square root of the same thing.
And this
So
would be it.
yeah, so 2 of them plus 2 of them makes 4 of them. What else can we do? Okay, yeah, remember this on these problems? They set it up so if you subtract 3x on both sides, that gets rid of that, which would have been a problem. Okay, also I see a minus 6 and a plus 4. That's minus 2. Okay, so it's much simpler now. Now it looks kind of like number, well, it looks easier. Let's put it that way. Okay, get the square root by itself. Get rid of the 4. Okay, now square.
If you had a favorite in every class, who would it be?
Be my favorite in school.
Yeah, no, like every class, like each class has a favorite student.
I'm not gonna pick favorites. No.
But you have favorites.
Yeah.
Do I?
Favorites are
They
mine.
just submitted.
Obviously, Eli's the favorite though.
I think
Was
Anya-
Lisa ever your favorite?
It's definitely Anya, because she's really like smart and stuff. She's like a genius. She's actually like super smart.
Shannon, do you have a crush on Anya?
But she's a really humble guy. She's actually really nah. You should give her English.
Now your handwriting's too bad to be favorite. Well, that's true.
Is that the disqualifying?
Your opinions are valid. You're a bad nigger.
That's like my Achilles heel.
She'd be my favorite except for I have to grade your papers, so.
Caden could solve cancer one day.
One of the questions on the homework that I just gave back to you, when you grade it, you put a question mark, and then I tried to find the answer, and I couldn't find it either. So, I was counting it wrong.
Bro couldn't read his own handwriting.
He just put a question mark. I looked at it for like 30 seconds, I thought, I give up, it's wrong. Okay, anyways, so we should check this answer. It's right. Okay, it works. So
Cheater.
Do you want to be
I got shocked. What was it?
well, sometimes we got 2 answers, and remember one of them didn't work. But that's not no solution.
Jump the gun.
Oh,
Do you want to work on the odd?
I'll let you get by without it. But if you do show work on the odds, that could help you with the evens. It's kind of like taking notes. No, definitely not. But
So if we can do it completely, like plug it into the calculator, we don't.
What color is that cat?
50.
Probably like 14 through 19, yes.
So we're,
But like you could use the calculator.
okay.
But after that, no.
You can't have further stuff on.
Well, some of those can be done on a calculator, I guess. Like 22 and 34. Those are like literally the only two though. 22 and 24 can be done on a calculator, yeah.
24 can be done.
Or 34, I meant 34. 22 and 34. Yes, use some judgment. Okay. So instead of 45, let's look at 44 because we haven't done one of these today. You guys might remember these were easier than the other problems. Okay. Do you guys remember how we did this, Shannon? You remember how we did that?
You multiply 3 over 2.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like what's really happening is we're taking both sides to the 3 over 2. So, what happens when we do a power to a power like this? It becomes like, yeah, it goes away. 9 to the 3 over 2. You could use a calculator, but this means basically the square root of 9, which is 3, cubed is 27. Okay, now on the homework when we got to these problems, I think on the odd I did it right, but on the even I said I'll let you get away with it, not doing it. But when you square root both sides, technically you should add a plus or minus. So since I'm helping with this one, we'll do it right, I guess.
But we still don't have to do it that way if we're doing it by ourselves.
Well, there is no more evens like this, so
Come on.
I don't know. If I put one of these on the test, I'll warn you, okay? Alright, so if we add 5 over, 27 plus 5 is 32, and negative 27 plus 5 is negative 22. And they both work. We didn't really square both sides, so we don't have to check this. We square rooted both sides, and we cubed both sides, but neither of those is an issue. Okay, I'm going to skip 45. It's like something that we didn't do on that assignment.
What was that?
So we're not doing it.
Huh? 44. Okay, 46. She's on that for a second.
Oh, no, please don't fall.
Grant,
Oh,
don't throw stuff in class.
Do we have to do 45?
I slid it.
You don't have to do 45, no. That's really
Are you serious right now? You see, now we're tracking grants.
maybe that's 44.
Look, that's 44.
Are we at 48?
So wait, what about 46? Okay.
You could one day just go get here for kids. But no one will ever know your findings, dude, because they can't read your handwriting.
Because they can't read your handwriting. Instead, they'd actually figure out, they think what your handwriting says is actually.
Okay, when you grow up, you'll be a millionaire. But no one will ever be able to know what you say.
Do we do 46?
What?
What?
You guys are.
Yeah, actually with the other class, I did 46 and 48.
What
and
the
let them
heck
do
is that?
47.
What the heck is that?
What is that?
What?
You can have.
Try to hear it.
Why are you like this? No.
Stop flying.
What is this?
I like this one's too.
Nice and low.
3 graphs,
The
so.
fact that we're graphing the beginning.
Oh,
Greg!
okay,
Who's just watching this like a hawk?
hush. Okay, so on 46, you guys remember how we did, this is Friday's assignment. Do you guys remember what shape these took?
Are we?
Yeah, the hill like that. Oh,
Almost
whoops.
proud of the boss.
You guys didn't make the cut.
Like,
There's 2 in there.
okay, are you racist? What?
Go ahead.
Are you
Okay.
racist?
It's cold and wet.
You guys know what this -1? You don't have to know this for this, but
Right.
it moves the right one. Okay, so what we did was we made up some x's to plug in. What would be some good x values to plug in here? 1. Because what numbers have nice square roots? 0 does, 1 does, and 4 does. And there's more, like 9 has a nice square root, 16. But we want to choose numbers that make this value under the square root 0, 1, or 4. That's the easiest way. So if I plug in 1, this would equal 0. What could I plug in to make this equal 1? 2. What could I plug in for x to make this equal 4? 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So you don't have to use these, but these are the ones that will not give you a square root or a decimal answer. So 1 minus 1 is 0, square root of 0 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1, square root of 1 is 1. 5 minus 1 is 4, square root of 4 is 2.
I just wanted to show you.
So you do that. Graph 1, 0, 2, 1, 5, 2. Whoop, I missed.
Kid, what are you doing, bro?
What I do.
Okay. What is the domain? What x values are we using? X values are left and right. The smallest x value is 1. And everything after 1 is filled in. So x is greater than or equal to 1. The range is the y values. What y values are we using? The small y values are up and down. The smallest y value is 0. Every y value above that will be covered. Eventually gets up there. So y is greater than or equal to 0.
Yeah.
I'm by the rule.
What? I'm about to ball.
Okay. Last. Listen to even again. 48. Whoops.
Are you not doing 47?
Nah. Yes.
Oh,
You do not have to do 45, but you do have to do 47.
You did 47.
Let's go.
Okay, let's talk about this for a second. What is the negative in front of everything going to do to the
Basically
graph?
go left.
Nope.
Oh, upside down.
Upside down.
Oh, man.
What is the 2 going to do to the graph? Yeah, twice as tall. What's this +1 going to do?
left.
Left 1,
Down.
down 1. Now, do we have to know all that? Not really. Sometimes they'll ask you questions like that on the test, but we don't really have to know that to do this. What would be some good x values to plug in? So what x value would make this 0? -1. What x value would make this under the square root 1? 0. What x value could I plug in to make this under the square root 4? 3. 3 plus 1. So if I plug in -1, -1 plus 1 is 0. Square root of 0 is 0. Times -2 is 0. Minus 1, -1. I plug in 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Times -2 is -2. Minus 1, -3. If I plug in 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Times -2 is -4. minus 1.
You're serious.
Who's that? Oh.
Like you're surprised. What's wrong with you, Hope?
Oh, man.
Nothing.
Gastrointestinal issues. Okay. Okay. So, remember how I said the negative makes it go down? Like flips it upside down? So, I drawn my graph like this. -1, -1. 0, -3.
Oh, I drew it wrong.
3, -5.
Oh, sorry.
Shit. Only speak with facts.
How about decision?
That's a rule for Hope. So mean.
I think Forrest is being very kind, generous. Good. Thank
When he tells people you can only speak when you're
you. Yes. He's like a parent.
the trees.
What is your original?
Do you have to do?
Forrest, are you a cliche?
We're doing more art.
Forest on
A
Mars.
minimum range? A minimum range?
Is your
And I spread.
okay, yeah, don't forget domain and range. Domain, the smallest x value is -1. And it gets bigger after that. So x is greater than or equal to -1, Shh, guys. And then for the range, what's the largest y value? -1. And it actually goes down from there. So y is less than or equal to -1. I forgot that part. Hope you saved us a lot.
Good job.